The night began with flashes, but it ended with whispers. What was meant to be a shining return for Prince Harry and Meghan Markle in New York quickly turned into a portrait of unease. On the carpet, she dazzled in a sculpted designer suit, diamonds catching every beam of light, her smile flawless enough to sell serenity. He, beside her, looked detached, eyes lowered, jaw tight, body angled away like he wished the carpet would swallow him whole. Reporters shouted their names, but the tension between them said more than any quote could. One photographer muttered that even through the lens, you could feel the frost. When Meghan tried to meet his gaze, his lips twitched toward a smile that never arrived. Later, they didn't leave together. Meghan slipped away to a private dinner uptown, cameras still in pursuit, while Harry vanished into a waiting SUV. That quiet split became the loudest rumor of the night. Two people once joined at the hip, now orbiting different worlds. Friends used to call them salt and pepper, because they were inseparable. Now even insiders admitted something had shifted. To see where it began unraveling, rewind to Paris, a city Harry had avoided for most of his life. His mother's ghost lived there, etched into every flashbulb memory of the tunnel where she died. For years, he couldn't bear the thought of stepping foot near that place. Then, one afternoon, Meghan boarded a flight alone for what her team labeled a business trip. The destination, Paris. The project, content shoots and brand meetings. But the location choices left people stunned. She was seen filming within walking distance of the Pont de l'Alma tunnel. When the photos hit social media, outrage erupted. Fans accused her of exploitation. Defenders called it coincidence. Meghan dismissed the uproar as narrative spinning. But for Harry, it was salt in an open wound. Those close to him said he went quiet, a sign of deeper hurt. He didn't argue. He simply retreated. That's how his pain works. He folds inward until there's nothing left but silence. To him, that city wasn't a backdrop. It was sacred ground, haunted by loss. Seeing his wife's project staged near that site shattered something private inside him. One longtime friend said bluntly, that was the moment he stopped recognizing her. And somewhere in that silence, another name resurfaced. Marcus Anderson. Stylish, charismatic, forever hovering at the edges of Meghan's world. They'd been close since her Suits years, sharing brunches, trips, and late-night strategy talks. The connection ran deep, professional yet intimate. The kind of bond that made Harry feel like an afterthought. When the couple moved to California, Marcus moved into their calendar. He curated guest lists, arranged introductions, and quietly handled optics. Insiders joked that if Meghan was the star, Marcus was the director. At first, Harry tolerated it. But over time, every whispered conversation, every private joke between them chipped away at him. Public events became emotional minefields. Meghan glowing in conversation while Harry lingered behind, awkwardly smiling at the floor. One witness at a charity gala described it perfectly. She radiated. He disappeared. The New York appearance was meant to reset that narrative, to remind the world they were still the golden couple who had traded palaces for purpose. Instead, it exposed how far apart they'd drifted. Meghan thrived under the spotlight, posing with practiced ease, every movement a headline. Harry looked like a man rehearsing happiness. There's viral footage of him reaching for her hand. She subtly shifts away, flashing a wider smile for the cameras. A tiny gesture, but it told the entire story. Connection attempted, performance maintained. Insiders say afterward, Harry asked to skip the after-party. He'd had enough flashbulbs for one night. Meghan, ever the strategist, stayed behind to network with executives and donors. By dawn, tabloids were already running side-by-side photos, her radiant, him grim, and speculating about what had gone wrong. People close to them frame it simply. Meghan feeds on energy. Harry escapes from it. She sees visibility as victory. He sees it as vulnerability. They wanted the same word, freedom, but defined it differently. To her, freedom meant power, control, expansion. To him, it meant quiet. And the cruelest twist is that both got exactly what they wanted, just not together. When they left royal life, they promised peace and privacy. But instead of escaping the crown, they built a new one, forged from contracts, cameras, and curated interviews. Harry traded royal protocol for media schedules. Meghan traded palace rules for Hollywood deals. The palace was replaced by PR teams, the courtiers by brand managers. They didn't abandon the stage. They rebuilt it in California light. And so each public appearance now feels like a rerun. Smiles painted on, gestures practiced. chemistry replaced with choreography. Viewers see glamour. Insiders see exhaustion. The prince who once fought for authenticity now performs it. The actress who once longed for acceptance now lives inside applause. Together, they've mastered illusion, but lost the intimacy beneath it. When the New York night ended, the world saw them drive off separately, unaware they were watching the soft collapse of a modern fairy tale. Behind the jewels and the poise were two people still in love with the idea of each other, not the reality. And as their car doors closed, one truth lingered like the city's last flash of light. The show would always go on, even if the hearts behind it were no longer in sync. Morning light spills through the Montecito windows, but it doesn't warm the room the way it used to. Prince Harry sits at the long oak table, coffee cooling beside an untouched notebook. Meghan Markle walks by in workout gear, phone pressed to her ear, discussing partnerships and press schedules before the day even starts. They move like strangers who know the choreography but have forgotten the melody. Friends say it's not anger that separates them anymore. It's emptiness. The quiet kind that grows between two people who've said everything and nothing all at once. The world still believes in the fairy tale. They post glossy photos of charity events, dinners, and family moments that look candid, but are carefully staged. Every frame is edited to preserve the brand. The modern royals who traded crowns for causes. But the illusion requires constant maintenance. Harry calls it living on autopilot. Meghan calls it strategy. Both words mean survival. After the gala fallout, the tension deepened. Critics mocked their Humanitarian of the Year title, questioning what good deeds justified designer gowns and diamond bracelets. Online, hashtags turned cruel, accusing them of selling sincerity. Meghan shrugged it off, reminding her team that attention, even bad attention, keeps them relevant. But for Harry, the mockery hit like déjà vu. It reminded him of the tabloids that once tore his mother apart. Watching history repeat itself, this time under his own name, was unbearable. He proposed a reset, a year of silence. No interviews, no speeches, no streaming cameras. A chance to breathe. Meghan agreed, kissed his cheek, and a week later signed 2 new deals. To her, momentum was safety. To him, it was suffocation. Insiders say that was the moment their dreams stopped overlapping. They began spending time in different wings of the house. Harry retreated to the garden, planting trees and reading about mindfulness. Meghan filled her schedule with video calls, panels, and networking lunches. The more she connected to the world, the more he disconnected from it. Friends describe him as present but elsewhere. She describes him as lost in nostalgia. And through it all, Marcus Anderson remained a constant presence. He coordinated her events, traveled ahead to scout venues, appeared at dinners where Harry was too tired to attend. Their closeness sparked quiet gossip. But insiders insist it isn't about romance. It's about control. Marcus understands the game Meghan is playing, and Harry doesn't. That gap between understanding and exhaustion keeps widening. One source summed it up in a single line. She's building an empire. He just wants to go home. Their foundation, once meant to champion compassion, has turned into another obligation. Staff turnover is high, meetings infrequent. Insiders whisper that it runs more like a production company than a charity. Even loyal supporters admit they aren't sure what it stands for anymore. The mission statement sounds noble: mental health, equality, kindness. But the execution feels hollow. It's branding disguised as benevolence, one former consultant said. Benevolence, one former consultant said. Yet even in the cracks, there are moments of tenderness. On quiet mornings, Meghan still leaves tea by his desk. Sometimes he slips a note into her handbag before she leaves for a trip. It's not love lost. It's love buried beneath exhaustion. They've built walls not out of hate, but out of habit, convincing themselves that routine is stability. Publicly, they maintain the performance. Every appearance follows a script. Hold hands at the entrance, exchange knowing smiles, exit before questions start. Behind the scenes, conversations revolve around optics. Which charities to highlight, which photos to post, how to control the narrative. Privacy, once their rallying cry, has become a luxury they trade for relevance. The whispers of a trial separation refuse to fade. Some say they've already tested living apart, under the guise of travel schedules. Others believe they'll never formally split, not because of love, but because of logistics. Their image, finances, and projects are intertwined too tightly to untangle cleanly. They're partners in a business called marriage, said one insider, and the business is still profitable. Still, the emotional cost is written all over Harry's face. He looks older now, the spark dimmed, the laughter forced. In interviews, he avoids eye contact when Meghan speaks. When cameras flash, he flinches, ghosts of paparazzi still dancing in his mind. Meghan, ever composed, fills the silence with confidence. But sometimes, when she thinks no one's watching, her smile falters too. Their story began as rebellion, two souls defying a kingdom for love. But somewhere between the escape and the empire, they became the very thing they ran from. Polished, distant, trapped in spectacle. They chased freedom and found performance. They sought peace and built pressure. They escaped judgment only to live under brighter lights. Now, when the world scrolls past their pictures, the coordinated outfits, the soft lighting, the captioned affirmations, they see a fairy tale still alive. But those who look closer recognize the truth hiding behind the perfection. The prince who wanted silence, the woman who needs the noise, two hearts beating out of sync, held together by cameras and contracts, and maybe there won't be a grand breakup or dramatic confession. Maybe the ending will come quietly, a slow drift until the world forgets to ask about them. Maybe one day, long after the cameras stop caring, they'll both realize the performance finally ended, and neither remembers the script. Because what began as love turned into legend, and legends don't need truth to survive, they just need attention. The tragedy isn't that they stopped loving each other, it's that they started loving the story more than the life behind it.